Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Trainer Talk Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a good day and a good start to your week. But we want to talk to you today about compatibility tips to keep in mind when in search for a personal trainer. So, as I said, hopefully you guys are having a good week so far and a great day as well. But we want to talk to you about something that we feel is important when it comes to client and trainer interactions. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Now, guys, we all know that credentials matter when you're in any professional industry, but credentials are not everything when it comes to health and fitness. Your compatibility with your trainer matters just as much. So we want to get into that now, guys. Number one, compatibility tip, personality types. You guys definitely want to be aware of this, and this is a huge one because so many different things can fall into this category. But in general, guys, you want to identify yourself if you would say that you're more introverted or extroverted, and then know if you would like someone who is similar to you in that right or someone that's the opposite. So that's going to vary person to person. That is going to be a personal preference. But for example, I'm incredibly introverted, so I actually tend to hang around and socialize, and even in the professional industry, be with people who are the exact opposite that I am. I usually gravitate towards extroverts because I'm so socially awkward in some situations that I almost need to be around someone else that can bring out that side of me and make me feel more comfortable. Now, some people might like it the other way around, where if you're introvert, you might like to hang out with another introvert because you don't want to socialize, you don't want to talk, and you're okay with that. So guys, keep that in mind. It does matter, and that is going to be a personal preference. When we talk about personality types, other things may go into that as well.
Yes, and for me, I'm more on the extroverted side when it comes to the business side of things, whereas I'm introverted at heart when it comes to me personally, outside of what I'm doing with a client or even friends for the most part. Like, that's my natural inclination, is to just do things alone and enjoy that alone time. But when it comes to training, I am very extroverted because I like to be very, very just open to everything that's happening. I understand that the process for a lot of folks could be very, very difficult and scary. So whatever I can do to break the ice, to kind of build a little rapport early on in that process, and just get that client to open up so that I can start to build that trust factor, is something that's important. Now, both are totally fine. It doesn't matter. But for me, in my instance, as Larissa spoke about in her way, for me, I'm more on the extroverted side of those things, just because I like to try to get to know a person and get the best out of them in a different way than they're not for the most part really comfortable with. But as we said, there's all different kind of types, but that is something that, guys, you need to take into consideration when you are looking to sign up with a personal trainer, because that is a very, very personal situation, and it is important that that trainer that you are looking for can be personable with you and take all of your needs and all of your limitations and anything of that nature seriously and into account with every decision and program that is written.
Yeah, guys, and with me being an introvert in really all aspects of my life, I do work with both extroverted and introverted clients, but I will say their sessions look very different. When I'm working with an introvert and being one myself, there's not a lot of communication that goes on in that session. It's very direct, it's very straightforward, like, this is what you need to do, this is how you do it, and there's not a lot of socializing past that.
It's not even really any music playing in the gym most times in that case. I mean, where's the damn music at in here? It's so quiet.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, this is a preference. When I work with my extroverts, I'm more listening. So they'll do a lot of the talking, they'll socialize, they'll tell me about their whole week and what was going on, and I listen to them, and I enjoy listening to them. So that's just a part of it, guys. Whatever dynamic works best for you, think about it, because it does matter. Also,
now, and real fast, not to cut you off, I just want to make clear, because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. We're basing this off of the client. We want to give you guys the best experience possible. So It is just like when I do a Uber or a Lyft ride from time to time when I'm out. Some people like to talk, some people don't. So we just really want to respect those beliefs or those personality types so that we're not pushing too much or not pushing enough for the most part. If you guys want to chat, as Larissa said, we're open to chatting. Like, I can be a little bit too chatty sometimes where we can get behind on a set or two and then I got to make you work a little harder on the back end, which is something I kind of like to do. But however, if someone likes to talk, we like to open up. We understand that personal training is a lot more than just the training itself. It's socializing for a lot of people. It's therapy for some people. It's a getaway for some people. It's a lot of different things that we know, and we take all of that into account with each and every individual we're working for, because no session is the same. No matter if it's the same workout, the speed of the workout, the tempo, the number of repetitions, the weight lifted, all changes based on the individual, and that is something that your trainer should always take into consideration.
Also, guys, under personality types, you might have things that fall into that category, like beliefs, political views, religious views. Now, these things may not matter to everybody. I will say that if you guys have differing viewpoints in these areas, then you at least need to respect each other's, or keep that topic off the table if that's something that may bother you. But that's something to think about, guys. It's very much like getting into a committed relationship with someone. Your trainer is someone that's going to be there for you in the long haul. So this needs to be someone that you are compatible with in these different areas as well, or at the very least needs to be respectable of whatever your viewpoints are, even if they wholeheartedly disagree with you. Because whether you want it to or not, those topics will most likely come up at some point or another, and it's best to not find out that you guys are in the extreme on different positions and there's no middle ground where you guys can still work with each other in a professional way. I've seen it happen before. That's why I wanted to add it in here. Not with us, I've seen it with other people. So it's just something to think about, guys, if that's important to you, to keep that in mind, that you're also compatible in those ways as well.
Yeah, and the last thing I will add on to that is that, guys, this is a relationship that's being formed. We, on one end, we like to take every client who walks through our doors and who fills out a submission form for personal training. We like to take all of those things into account, that this is a lot more than just a business transaction. This is a relationship form. We're going to be around each other and a part of each other's lives in ways that we couldn't even imagine prior to you signing up just for personal training, and it goes so much farther than that. Like, we have been to graduations, we've been to weddings, we've been to baptisms, we have been to family gatherings, we've been to so many different things with a numerous amount of clients over the years. So understand that it's a relationship. So when Larissa speaks about those things that you guys can be both extreme on two different ends, those things will come up, but you guys need to be sure that you can respect each other. The trainer respects your beliefs, you respect the trainer beliefs, and understand what you are here for. Even though it's about a lot more than just that business transaction, we want to make sure that you feel welcome, loved, and cared for. However, we may have different ways of living our lives or doing things, but that don't mean that we can't come together and achieve a common goal. No. Now, moving on to number 2, did you want to add anything else to that?
Very straightforward, guys. Gender can also kind of go in there. You may prefer to work with a male or female trainer. You might have a preference there. You might not care at all. So that's also something that you should take into consideration of what matters the most to you.
All right, and moving on to number 2 here. Now, these next 2 are going to be incredibly important. At least I think that's how we feel about it, but overwhelming. Finding a trainer that is not going to overwhelm you and understands where you currently are and what currently makes you tick and how to get the best out of you without giving you too much, to the point where it makes you feel that you never want to come back to the trainer again because they made you do too much too soon, or they made your body not able to recover and now you can't go to work and have a regular functional day after going to the gym trying to get your body in a better position, but it's just making you feel like it's too much and it's too fast. So making sure that you have a trainer that has a complete understanding of those things is incredibly important, and I can't stress that idea enough.
Yep, guys, I think we're really great about taking this into consideration, because when you are forming a new habit and you're on a journey to changing your lifestyle, because that's ultimately what your goal is, right? You have to change your lifestyle to get results. That's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. And if you are just thrown all those details at once, that can get incredibly overwhelming to most people. And it's also incredibly unrealistic. So if you have a trainer or professional in this industry that, just gives you everything that is supposed to be done right then and there, and whether they expect it to be done or not, our brains just can't handle that much information at one time when you're making such drastic changes. And that's why I said I think that we're really great about this, that we can talk to you during our consultation and kind of pinpoint your personality type during that conversation and what really works best for you and what you're ready for. Because not everybody, most people aren't going to be ready to just jump all in. That's a very specific personality type that can do things cold turkey, can quit old habits cold turkey and start new ones. Those people do exist. You might identify as that out there, that you're an all or nothing personality. I'm that type of personality, but it's rare. Most people aren't like that. Most people need very simple, attainable, and maintainable tasks that they can do gradually over time to get the results that they're looking for. And so I would identify that in yourself, and then also be able to pinpoint if your trainer is capable of doing that with you.
Yeah, and as Larissa mentioned, with our consultation process, that is something that always comes up, is that we always like to let the client know, hey, look, we don't want to beat you over the head with a ton of things that by the time you walk out of this door today, you're not even going to remember. So giving you small tidbits that you can start with, like increasing your water intake today, maybe starting to go for, if you're already walking, maybe walk 2 or 3 more days during the week, just to start to build your body up for the change and the challenges that is on the way. But telling you to go home and throw everything out of your fridge, or you need to do these things and etc., things that you have no understanding of, which is why you're coming to a trainer, right? So we try to understand that and never want to ever overwhelm anyone with the process before it has even begun. So if you find yourself sitting across from a trainer that you're looking into and they're just telling you a ton of things that you have no real understanding of and no know-how of how to do, then maybe you should re-ask yourself, is this going to be the best fit for me? Seeing that already they're giving me way too much too fast, and we haven't even started the hard stuff, which for a lot of you coming in is going to be the exercising, if that is going to be something that's foreign to you prior to you signing up that day.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of professionals in our industry can get a bad rap for being judgmental. A lot of you may be scared about that when you're in search of finding a personal trainer, that you don't want to tell them everything because you're fearing that you might be judged by them. And I understand that fear, and I also understand that that can be a reality for a lot of you, because there are some trainers that could get to that point and forget where they came from. Because the reality is that none of us started out with the knowledge that we have today, getting into this industry. And I think Nate and I have been incredibly honest with all of you in past videos that this has been a learning journey for us as well. Like we, are learning every single day, and how I view myself as a trainer 5 years ago is not how I view myself now. And I would like to think that I have grown and improved in a lot of different ways in that time period. And that's kind of our promise to you guys, is that we're going to keep growing, we're going to keep learning, and where you're at right now, we've been there. I mean, Nate and I both grew up, I grew up eating, fish sticks and bologna sandwiches. Nate grew up eating meatloaf.
No, not meatloaf. The worst thing ever.
The Salisbury steak, that's what it's
Banquet
called.
Salisbury steak.
To me, it's all the same thing.
I hate that stuff so much, and that's one of the main things I tell people about whenever I go back to childhood things. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that there was food on the stove when I got in from practice, but whenever it was those days where I come home and I seen that little white/grayish tray with the cellophane over the top of the plastic, I knew that it was going to be a terrible night for me because I wasn't going to eat. I was going to starve. I was not going to subject myself to another piece of Salisbury steak.
Yeah, guys, I mean, we grew up like that. I had access to soda and juices and pretty much any kind of drink that I wanted
Kool-Aid.
access. Yeah, we had access to a lot of sugary drinks very early on in our childhood, so we know what it's like to be addicted to these types of foods. We know what it's like to not have any understanding of what healthy eating looks like, and to literally come from that to where we are now shouldn't intimidate you. I don't want it to. I want it to inspire you because it can show you that it's possible. Because at the end of the day, we were just two East Side kids from Indianapolis that, you know, grew up on the far East Side, and, you know, our parents did 100% what they could for us at that time. But if you are a 90s baby or, you know, late 80s baby, you know that times were just different back then. This whole idea of holistic living was just not there. It wasn't known about. It wasn't something that was lived or preached by. And those, you know, that one or two person that you knew that preached that lifestyle, they were pretty much shunned. They were kind of like weirdos in the, you know, late 80s and 90s. And that's kind of coming back now, where our generation as adults are looking more into living a holistic lifestyle and, you know, learning more about that. So maybe you're finding yourself, whether you're our age or younger or older, that's kind of like the new trend. People want to go organic. They want to live healthy. They want to do all these different types of things to live an overall healthier, abundant life. So it's just different now. And so the information that we have access to is now changing, and it's now different, and, you know, whatever the demand is, that's what we're going to have access to as far as science is concerned. So guys, keep that in mind. It matters. We know where you're coming from because we've been there. We've been in your shoes.
Absolutely. So guys, something that goes in conjunction, moving on to number 3 with this, is underwhelming. So having a trainer who underwhelms you with the process, someone who is not extremely knowledgeable for the most part on the matter, and they know barely more anything than you do. Maybe they are really good at working out. Maybe you saw some things from them that were inspiring to you just by how committed they are in their own journey, but they're not able to help you in a way that you need to be helped. They're not able to, you know, cater to your needs and your goals for the most part. So just like you can be overwhelmed with the process, having too much too soon, you can also be underwhelmed with the process by not having enough soon enough, by sitting down with a trainer, going through a consultation process and not hearing anything that you don't already know. And trust me, I have had messages from tons of different people over the years who wanted to sign up with me, but they decided to go another route because it was a little more suitable for them financially. And then on the backside, a few months, sometimes even a few weeks later, they come and they reach back out to me because they was incredibly underwhelmed with the process because they just wasn't getting anything out of it. They didn't feel like they were doing anything that was going to force them to make a change. They would never push past their own limits, their comfort zone. They felt, you know, just like they did before they went in. So then they wanted someone that was a little bit more, let's say, just suited to help them get to where they were. So just as you can be overwhelmed with the process early on, you can also be underwhelmed. And that's something you need to pay attention to too, because you don't want to get multiple months into this thing where you're constantly paying a premium dollar, if that's what you're paying for training, or if you're paying anything, let's call it what it is. Like, if you're paying anything, you get so far in and you look down and you say, nothing's changing. I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I gotten any stronger. I don't feel like my wing has gotten any better. I'm not reducing the amount of medications that I'm on. Nothing is really changing. You're underwhelmed with the process, and that is something that can happen to you too. And just like we said before, we've seen this happen before, so take that into consideration. Overwhelmed, you can also be underwhelmed.
Well, I'll also add to this, if you're not getting results and you're doing everything your trainer told you to do, because oftentimes clients you guys know you're guilty of this. You'll look down and you'll say, well, I haven't gotten any results. I don't notice any changes, but you literally haven't taken into account any of the advice that your trainer has given you. So be honest with yourself. If you are truly taking heed to the advice given and you're still not getting results, then that is an issue, guys. There's something going on there. I think that the underwhelming can also go hand in hand with not just the education that Nate mentioned, but also like the trainer's passion for the industry. And you'll be able to see it written all over their face if they are passionate about this lifestyle or not. And I would hope that you would want to hire a professional that is passionate about this, that this isn't just a hobby to them. This is their purpose in life. This isn't just a job. This is like their everything. This is, you know, I don't know what another word for purpose is. That's probably the best way to describe it, but this is just like, this is it for them. This is their focus. This is their overall goal. This is their life's mission. And if you don't have that, then you're probably going to see some underwhelming qualities in your sessions that you may not be comfortable with, because you ultimately have to have someone who is passionate. And guys, I see this a lot when it comes to lifting weights. Most people are afraid to lift heavier weights than what they're comfortable doing. And this is where I ultimately think of, you know, what Nate is describing as the underwhelming factor, is because if your trainer is afraid to put you in a position to lift heavier weights and get you outside your comfort zone, then you're not going to do it because you're afraid of it. Like, how are you supposed to get past that breaking point of really getting the results you're looking for if your trainer is scared to push you there? That is ultimately the professional's job. So if they can't take you there, and you already know that you have not been successful taking yourself there in the past, then ultimately what are you doing, guys? And you know, I've seen this all the time. We actually had a scenario where this was true, where we were looking at hiring different trainers, and we were putting them through the hiring process of training our clients and getting their response and their feedback. And you know, a lot of times the workouts were repetitive, or they were giving clients who were used to doing 25 pounds with us 5-pound dumbbells. That can be very underwhelming, all right? If you're someone who is used to doing something, or at least has that mentality that you want to do something or want to get there, you want to lift heavier weights, you want to run faster, you want to be able to hold a plank longer, and they're having you do it, or they're stopping you before you really reach that, you know, that peak point where you're really challenging yourself, that's going to be pretty underwhelming, guys. And I've seen that so often in our industry. So it happens more times than you probably think.
Yep, and that's very well said. That's pretty much where I was leaning towards when I spoke earlier about someone who you may see that's really good about taking care of themselves and keeping themselves disciplined, but they don't have that same passion to help the next person. And that's what you're looking for, is not someone who's passionate or driven for themselves, but someone who's driven and passionate about helping everyone else, because that's what our job is in this industry, is to help the next person be able to meet and reach their goals and then even surpass them.
Yep. All right, guys, getting into number 4 here, and I think the next two, just like these last two that we went over, kind of go hand in hand. So number 4 is enthusiasm. Is your trainer fun? Are they exciting? Do they make you want to work out? And that could be done in different ways. That could be done based off the personality type that we talked about before. You know, do you mesh well with their personality? Do you like their sense of humor or lack thereof when it comes to me? Nate's the funny one. I'm the serious one if you guys haven't figured that out. You know, they keep the workouts interesting? Are they challenging you? You know, these things can be fun. They can be exciting, trying new things, reaching new PRs, you know, personal records. These things can be fun and exciting for people. And ultimately, you need to decide if that's important to you.
Yeah, and that, when I think of enthusiasm, that's exactly what I think of, is being pushed past where you're comfortable. And when we talk about PRs, I love the look on a lot of clients' face, and I always go back and reference the box jumps because that's what people are really most hesitant about. But whenever we can get a client to jump a new height that they're not used to and to see all that excitement off their face, I can tell that they're thrilled and they're so excited to get back in the gym and do more. Because yeah, people get excited about lifting more weight, but I've never seen people get as excited as they do about being able to jump a certain height when they felt they could never jump over a piece of paper prior. But that is the feeling that you should have when you are with your trainer. You should feel excited, kind of what you spoke about last time with repetitive workouts where you're always doing the same thing. Every chest day is the same exercises. Every arm day is same exercises. Same core, same legs. You want to switch it up. You want to keep it fresh. You want to keep it exciting. And you also want to keep your body guessing. You don't want to become too redundant that your body adapts to it and then the changes don't continue to come. Because of course, everyone's going to get some sort of results earlier in your process, but then that will slow down, and that's when your trainer there is going to have to find new ways to challenge you and be creative to keep your body guessing and to keep your body feeling like it's being challenged. Because as you get stronger, as you get more adapted and accustomed, these things will start to slow down, and that's where plateaus can take place. And to avoid those, you need to keep things fresh. You need to keep things exciting. You need to make this thing fun. A lot of people, older people to be exact, when I say older, I'm just talking about adults in general, we consider working out sometimes a burden, another thing to do. When in reality, a gym is nothing but a big playground for adults. Just like I take my kids to the park and they're on the swings, they're going up and down slides, they're being active. So when you come to a gym, you're being active, you're moving around, you're using your body the way it was intended to keep your body feeling young, feeling fresh, and capable. So that's what it's about, being excited, being enthused, having a lot of fun, because that's what it is. You're just going to the playground and you're just having fun.
Now guys, and I think that another huge benefit of adding variety, that fun factor into your training program, is that it really gives you the opportunity to find out what you truly enjoy. And that's so important, guys. If you're doing something that you absolutely hate every single time you're in your session, you're probably not going to do it for very long. Now that doesn't mean that you have to love every single thing you're doing, but there should be a mix of all those different things that are going to challenge you and things that you're just really looking forward to. So for instance, you may really find out that you like lifting heavy weights, like you like doing barbell training, and that is your favorite, and that's what you look forward to. If your trainer knows that, then they should absolutely be incorporating that into your training routine. It should be something that's a regular for you because that's something you enjoy. Same thing with boxing, or maybe you like cardio, or I've trained older clients that they really loved walking. So yes, we did the weights because ultimately that was going to help them get to reach their goals that they wanted to reach. So it had to be incorporated, even though they didn't enjoy those things as much. I'd have them lift weights, doing an exercise that maybe they didn't care too much about, but then go walk a lot. Go outside and walk a lot. Because they loved that. They enjoyed being outside. They enjoyed walking and moving their feet. It was something that they were proud of, that they felt confident in doing. And that's important, guys. Almost just as important, if not, equal value here of, challenging your client. As our job, it's our job to get you out of your comfort zone, as we mentioned, and challenge you. But it's also our job to boost your confidence. So your workout shouldn't just be filled with all the exercises that you're not, great at. Let's just say, call it what it is. All the things that you feel kind of goofy or uncoordinated doing, and you're like, man, I'm really embarrassed doing that. There's a benefit to doing them, but your entire program shouldn't look like that. You shouldn't leave the gym or your training studio feeling defeated because I didn't make that box jump. I couldn't do that either. I didn't hold the plank. Like, if we're giving you all these things that are just too hard for where you're currently at, then that's going to be an issue as well. It's really it's a science of getting a balance of all those things so you're getting the results that you're looking for, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well.
All right, guys, and to wrap this thing up, last but certainly not least, education, guys. we like to believe it. We like to believe for our clientele, this is a learning experience for you and a teaching experience for us, because not only do we want to take you through the motions and help you reach your goals, but we also want to be able to give you the staples of what you need to do so that once that goal is met and it's time to move on, because let's call it what it is, we're not going to keep every client forever, but when you do move past, we want to make sure that you take a lot of things with you and remember so that you know how to monitor and take care of your health for the years to go on. So being educated and asking questions and being able to get proper answers back, answers that are relevant to the questions you ask, and answers that actually make sense, is incredibly important, guys. And don't be afraid to ask your trainer questions. Even if that trainer tells you, I don't have an answer now, but I have one for you our next session or even later today, and they just check back with you, because those questions that you ask can be a learning experience for us on the opposite side, because you may ask us something that we're not too hip to at the moment. We're not too understanding of ourselves, but then we go do a quick research, read up a couple articles, maybe open up a couple books, and now we got a great answer for you, and now we learned something new ourselves, but we're able to answer that question and give you what you need at the same time, because you as the client don't always know where to look, because it's not your profession, it's not your job to. So if you hired someone or you're hiring someone and you have questions and concerns, don't be afraid to ask, because it's our jobs to be your teacher it's our job to be your teacher in addition with being your trainer. We like to believe it to be a teaching experience, so we encourage our clients to ask us questions. If I'm showing you a move, I have you doing certain things in the program and you wonder why are we doing this, ask, because I should have a good answer for you and a relevant answer for you to why we are doing this movement and how it could correlate and what it means to your everyday life.
Yep, guys, and along with that education, your trainer should be able to scale that information to what you're able to retain and understand. I've also seen this a lot in our industry, where there are trainers who are incredibly smart, just unbelievably smart and intelligent, and they know everything when it comes to the body and how it moves and how it operates, and it's fascinating for me. But for someone that's probably not as passionate about health and fitness or nutrition, it goes back to that overwhelming factor that we talked about. If they have all the right answers and they can tell you everything and what they're saying is true, but they're not saying it in a way that you can understand, it doesn't really matter. They might as well be speaking a foreign language, because if you can't comprehend and retain that information and what makes sense to you and how you live your life, then it's no good. Then they might as well not have any information at all, because you can't apply it to your own life if you don't fully understand it. So, a lot of trainers are real big on using the correct terminology when it comes to, muscles and everything like that. And I think that there's a time and place for that. But, at the end of the day, it's your quad, it's your thigh. And those are words that you understand, that you can grasp and easily remember, as opposed to us breaking down the different muscles in the quadricep, right? You're probably not going to want to hear those things. You're probably not going to want to hear any of the medical terminology, because it's not going to make sense to you. I trained doctors in the past. A lot of them didn't even know what the medical terminology was, because they were specialized in one area. So, guys, if doctors, surgeons don't care about these terminologies, these words, you're probably not going to either. So make sure that your trainer is able to break it down in ways that you'll understand.
Yeah, and I think that is one thing that has made us very compatible with a lot of different kind of clients all over the years, is that my background in playing sports, being a point guard, happen to direct 4 different guys on the floor at the same time, carry out my coach's orders and plays, and just happen to cope and understand all the different personalities I'm on the floor with so I can get the best out of them, has served me well later in life now, that when I'm dealing with all these different kind of personalities, I'm able to cope with a lot of different people. Larissa's background, being raised in a church, having a father who was incredibly passionate and understanding and taught her how to have a real big open heart and a caring heart has led her to be able to be compatible with so many different people, because we're understanding of not only your needs and wants, but we understand that that is what's going to help us get the best out of you. It's going to help us build a level of trust with you so that you can not only get the best out of your workouts, but you can believe everything we're saying and know that we have your best interest. And I really believe that's one of the things that makes never settle when it comes to our way of training.
Yep, guys. And if you are someone who is in search of a personal trainer, or you're on the fence about making some decisions when it comes to your overall health, fitness, or wellness, please reach out to us. Absolutely no risk, guys. Go ahead and reach out to Nate or I personally, or let us know in the comments below. But just schedule a consultation with us. It's complimentary, doesn't cost you a thing. We'll sit down with you one-on-one. Whether you're in the St. Pete area or not, we can do it virtually. And that's always an option for you guys, so don't let that hold you back if you don't feel like we're close enough to you. We can meet with you virtually, and we can kind of go over where you're currently at, what your goals look like, and how we can help you reach them by defining what our motto is, train with purpose, and breaking that down to these 5 different points that are really going to encompass all areas of wellness. So if you guys are interested in that, if you're interested in taking your health and wellness to the next level, schedule that complimentary consultation today, guys. You will not regret it. And like I said, no risk. If you decide you're not ready, or it's not for you, or we're not compatible for you, move on. And no harm, no foul. We understand. Just like we're sitting here talking to you, and we hope that you choose us, we know that we're not for everybody. But I do believe that there is a trainer out there for everybody. There's someone for someone, right? There's someone out there for you. So we hope that that's us. But if it's not, then we would, love to even help you find that person, or, make recommendations that might be a better fit.
Yep, and I guess we can add that in too, because we know some other great trainers, and that's something that we're not hesitant to do or afraid of doing, because we know that if we're being true to the process and we continue to put that good energy out there, the universe is always going to send it back. So if you find yourself with a trainer and that trainer seems to be reluctant, and you guys are just bouncing, bumping heads each and every time that you guys are together, then obviously you guys aren't a good fit. But maybe that trainer should look into setting you up with someone else. That's something we have done in the past, where we have had athletes come to us that was a little bit beyond what we were doing at the moment, and we just send them over to someone else, and they still got great results, and those people were incredibly thankful that we did, because we're not trying to be greedy. Yes, everyone wants to make money and live a nice life, but at the same time, this is our passion, and we care more about you and your needs and wants versus how much money we can put in our bank account. So like I said before, it's about a lot more than just that business transaction. It's the relationship form, because even if I recommend you to someone else, maybe someone else that you can recommend now to us as well. So make sure that you're working with someone that's just not greedy and in for it for themselves. They can't help you, and they're not even trying to help you by even possibly helping you look in other areas, because trust me, we all know someone else.
Look, if you have a trainer, they know other trainers. Best believe that. And they know high quality trainers, okay? They know the other ones too, but they have a list of people on their mind that they're like, yeah, they're good at what they do. They're great at what they do. And that's what it's all about, guys. Just sharing the love and making sure that you are in the position where you need to be. So that's all we have for you guys today. Again, make sure to schedule that complimentary consultation. Reach out.
Anywhere from the world, guys. COVID has shown us we can do this thing from anywhere now. Everyone is used to the virtual stuff, so that shouldn't be nothing new to you. And like we said, it's risk-free.
All right, guys. We love you, and as always, never give up.
Never lose hope, and
never settle.
All right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and have a terrific week as well. Hopefully that information gave you some enthusiasm.